Last Friday, the first Friday of 2013, I took myself in the morning down to the local multiplex to pay to see a screening of Texas Chainsaw 3D, prior to going up to the BBC to do the Radio 5 live show I do with Simon Mayer, where I reviewed the film. I paid to see it because the film wasn't press screened to critics. Unsurprising, because it's utter rubbish. Does this make any difference? Well, over the weekend, it did very good box office. In the US, $23 million went straight in at the #1 spot. Doesn't mean it's a good movie. It means that people went to see it. Why? Because of the enduring reputation of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My experience of watching Texas Chainsaw 3D was that all the time I was watching the film, which is a kind of reboot come remake. I mean, it's a new story, new characters, but basically all going through all the old set pieces. So it's kind of somewhere between the two. But all the time I was watching it, I just kept thinking, I really like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, remembering the thrill of seeing it the first time at the Phoenix in East Finchley, remembering the difficulty that James Furman, the chief censor, had with attempting to cut it. He said that it had the pornography of terror about it, but there's almost no blood, so he couldn't cut it. He couldn't do anything to dispel its strange, magical spell. And all the time I was watching Texas Chainsaw 3D, all I could think was, I really, really like the original. Why am I watching this pale, shallow imitation? It started me thinking about remakes. Now, generally, there is a feeling that remakes of classic movies are not such a great idea. However, occasionally I beg to differ. When we did the Kermode Uncut Film Club, more of which in the next few weeks, we started off with Breathless, the Richard Gere remake of Abu de Souffle. And I have no shame in saying this. Personally, I prefer Breathless. Also, I remain a big fan of Sorcerer, William Friedkin's remake of Wages of Fear. When that film came out, it was panned by critics and ignored by audiences, but over the years, its reputation has grown. I remember being quite surprised that I actually rather liked the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair, despite the fact that it had Sting singing the title song in it. My question to you, therefore, is this. Which is the remake or reboot or relaunch or reimagining of a film which has most left you remembering just how great the original was and just how little you want to be seeing a pale reflection? And which was the remake that made you think, you know what, I expected that to be bad, but boy, it turned out to be good?